According to Interpersonal Messages by Joseph DeVito, culture is a lifestyle that is shared by a group of people and that is passed down through generations, through communication rather than through genes. This lifestyle includes both their beliefs and values, such as religious views, ethical views, as well as language, art, and history. Culture has a huge impact on how we see the world around us and how we form our viewpoints on widely controversial issues. Culture is an incredibly beautiful and unique part of our human experience. However, it can also be harmful and divisive if people choose to ignore all outside perspectives in favor of their own. Times change, demographics change, and cultures change. And these are all things that we must take into account when dealing and communicating with other people. We must be open to progress, to using communication between us to seek the truth, to rationalize what is truly good and bad, instead of fighting and being unwilling to adapt simply because our own egos tell us that our view is the only right view. Going forth with such an attitude leads to rhetoric such as the concept of manifest destiny, which led to westward expansion of the United States in the 19th century, but also the demise of entire Native American communities. According to David Hughes in his piece on Making an Exception, a critical genealogy of U.S. exceptionalism. Culture and communication is a tool of humanity, and like all tools of humanity, it can be used for either good or bad. Oftentimes, culture can be used to shut down conversation, to prevent progress, essentially saying, I'm entitled to my beliefs because that's simply my culture. But culture can also be used as an incredible tool to share different perspectives and to promote progress. Modern organized religion, in my opinion, is a great example of how culture can be used to halt progress through outright denial of scientific fact and reason in favor of concrete cultural norms. I believe faith is a beautiful thing, and I have absolutely no quarrels with those that believe in a higher power. I do believe everyone has the right to their own beliefs, as long as said beliefs do not harm or infringe upon the rights and well-being of others, who may or may not share in their beliefs to begin with. For example, Christian Science parents who prevent their children from seeking life-saving treatments like blood transfusion and insulin is a direct example of how one's cultural beliefs can harm and even kill other individuals who may or may not even share those same beliefs to begin with. There should be a separation of church and state, simply because not everyone shares the same religious beliefs. In the words of former Wisconsin Supreme Court Chief Justice Shirley S. Abrahamson, when a parent fails to provide medical care to his or her child, creates an unreasonable and substantial risk of death or great bodily harm, is aware of that risk, and causes the death of the child, the parent is guilty of a second-degree reckless homicide. Religion should not put an individual above the law. We have a separation of church and state, and yet states like Arizona and Connecticut provide Christian Science parents special rights in these regards, which is absolutely baffling to me. If a parent chooses to deny themselves medical care due to their beliefs, that is one thing. However, when another person is affected by their choices, that is simply unacceptable. Another example of religion impeding its boundaries and its control is sex education in schools. Many religious individuals are proponents of either no sexual education whatsoever in schools or abstinence-based sexual education, which has been proven to be ineffective in reducing teen pregnancies and also STD rates. Dr. Klein of the University of Rochester School of Medicine said that abstinence-based programs that cost up to $87.5 million a year are not based on medical or scientific health information. This is an example of how culture can blind people from facts and the path to general well-being as a society in favor of upholding pre-existing beliefs and notions. Overall, I believe we must work on reducing our ethnocentrism, which, according to DeVito, is our tendencies to evaluate the values of beliefs and behaviors of our own culture as superior, more logical, positive, and more natural than that of other cultures. We must look at controversial subjects and take into account facts and evidence, rather than just blindly following what our cultures have taught us from a young age. I believe that we can all learn from each other, and while cultural history should be acknowledged and appreciated and taught and passed down through generations, we should also learn from each other and use culture as a tool to grow and better our societies rather than stagnate and repeat the same harmful divisive cycles. Thank you.